What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video we're going to be reviewing It Chapter 2. Now, It Chapter 2 is the follow-up and sequel to It, which I'm going to say It Chapter 1 from now on because it helps, separate It 1990 from the It 2017. So I'll say It Chapter 1. This is the sequel to It Chapter 2. Now, in It Chapter 2, of course, the losers have defeated Pennywise in their first film, and now he's come back. And now, 27 years later, they have to return as well. And I have to say, this movie was fucking awesome. There is just so much that this movie has done right, especially considering a character-driven film that the first film was. Definitely does a great job of being a character-driven film. Now that we see these loser kids as an adults, the same fears and their personalities, a lot of the things that just made them who they were as kids, definitely translated well to them as adults and on a more mature level, which I think was actually pretty cool. Now, one of the things that I will say that I would like to see is a little bit more of is a little bit more of their life pre-Derry, before they go back to Derry. But given that this movie was almost 3 hours long, I can kind of see that there was a lot of things that they had to pull back on, which I'm not really mad about because I really enjoy these fucking characters. And let's just go to get to it, guys. The casting, some of the best casting I've seen in quite a long time. The casting for this movie is just fucking phenomenal. Let's just go down the list. We got James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, who really impressed me. Really impressed me. Isaiah Mustafa, Jay Ryan, James Ranson, Andy Bean, and I have to give it up again for Bill Skarsgård, who just does a fantastic job with the character of Pennywise. This man is just completely owns this fucking role. To me, he's at the point of if Jack Nicholson is the original Joker, whereas Heath Ledger is the definitive Joker, then I would say that Tim Curry would be that Jack Nicholson Joker to Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise. So I definitely have to say that this is the definitive Pennywise in my eyes. He's just fucking amazing. He does a fantastic job with this character. Now this time around, the story, like I said, it's a pretty lengthy movie, but I'm not one of those people that complain about the length of a movie, unless if you're telling a good story. If you're telling a good story, I'm fine with it because you need that time to tell that good story, flesh out certain elements. And yes, there are some good throwbacks and Easter eggs in this movie that I caught that was really good. Now, I have not read the whole entire book, so there are a lot of things that I know I missed, but I really enjoyed this movie because I thought it was just a great adaptation as well as an addition to the first film. Now, one thing I can say that this film does a good job of that the miniseries didn't do so well is giving us a bit more scares in the second half, which this would be considered the second half. But there are a lot of instances that happened in the first movie that are brought back as flashbacks in this movie, which make up for those scares. And honestly, as I've said in the miniseries as well, some things aren't as scary in this movie when adults are experiencing it because they are adults. And being a child, fear is interpreted a lot differently. It's magnified 1,000-fold. But in this movie, it seems like there aren't a lot of scares, which there actually are some pretty good scares, but there are a lot of really intense moments. But surrounding those intense moments is actually a good amount of just dramatic, just emotion that just works so well when we just with these characters who you just like and you love them. They're really interesting, and surprisingly enough, this movie does have a good bit of humor in it. Me personally, I didn't think the humor was bad. I don't think it was stretching because we got some of the same humor from some of these characters in the first film. It translates to them really well over in this film. Now, I will admit there are some moments where it feels like things happen, but probably shouldn't possibly be in the movie, and there are some issues with the writing, and I know some people had a problem with the CGI. I really didn't have a problem with the CGI, and it's not because the CGI was bad, because the first movie did a better job of utilizing more practical effects during some of the scary scenes than using CGI. Well, this time we do see a bit more CGI. Not to say that's actually bad, because in actuality it really isn't. Now, like I said, I really enjoyed the characters. I thought the music was really good. I thought the movie had a lot of good direction, as well as the dialogue, which is fucking awesome. I really enjoyed this quick whips. Great dialogue between characters, especially these. And like I said, these characters are definitely the ideal characters from the kids. And I love how they translated it so well, because none of these characters actually feel like they aren't who they were as kids. And I like that they still have some of the same quirks, but they're just more mature about it. And that's why I go back again to the casting and the performances, because the cast was just phenomenal, especially giving who these characters are and how, that a lot of times you watch movies like this when you have somebody that's younger and you have somebody that's older, and you really can't see how do those two actually grew up into that person. When this movie actually see that, so it's not really a problem. They just have a really good cast. Now, like I said, there are some things that they could have did better with the writing, especially this time around when Pennywise is kind of out in the open, so his presence isn't as intense around this time. But he does do some pretty brutal things in this film, and I think that that's something that should have been in the film, because we have to realize, much as we like Pennywise, he is an asshole. He does kill kids, and I like that this movie definitely reminds us of that. But I have to say, guys, in the end, It Chapter 2 is actually a really good follow up sequel to the first It Chapter 1. I really enjoyed the characters. The fucking performances were just stellar. I love Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise once again. I love the story. Again, the length wasn't a problem for me. I really enjoyed the dialogue, the humor, the very hardcore moments. There is one exceptional moment between two characters. It is very intense. It's during the climax of the film, and things are just going south, and it's just going crazy, and you're not sure if these characters are going to die. But it's a very powerful moment for me, and I really love that moment. Again, this movie just was just pretty cool. Like I said, aside from the little nitpicks that I had of this movie, I'm just going to say it. It Chapter 2, in my eyes, definitely deserves a 5 out of 5. I would have said 4, but honestly, that's just how I feel. And plus, the climax of this movie was fucking 1,000 times better than the miniseries. So having said that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are about It Chapter 2. What did you like? What didn't you like? Also, let me know again who's your favorite Pennywise, and also who's your favorite loser this time around. Of all of the characters, all the performances, which one of the characters is your favorite loser character? And also be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on in this channel. And we'll catch you guys later.